Welcome to Sheni V'Chamishi. Today is the yahrzeit of Moshe Rabbeinu. Why are there so many Yungelite in Lubavitch taking off the mezuzahs from the house? The answer is because of the Newsweek articles. Because the Newsweek. Today Moshe Rabbeinu's yahrzeit is because Moshe Rabbeinu was a prophet in Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. And he's also one of the founding fathers of the United States of America, according to the Bible Belt. And so that Newsweek article, the reaction is, interestingly, educated people who sometimes have funny beliefs and behave in secrecy and denial, up to a certain point, of course, make me want to tell more stories. Like, the frog in Mitzrayim, you try to hit it and more comes out. So in Oholei Torah, in the basement, the 4 classes in the basement that finish with a bathroom, they go along the gym. So they alongside the gym wall were these 4 secluded bathroom. How are you? So I'm saying a story from the Cheder Kinderjahren. Amazing. I feel like those old men who would tell us about the old country. So we were sitting in class, and Rabbi Shapiro, Levitcha Shapiro V'Shalom, was giving us a farher, and Rabbi Karp came into the class and asked, it was our teacher, Rabbi Polter, who replaced Rabbi Solomon. He had to get married, he went to London. So he says, "Where is Yossi Sher?" And there was Rabbi Polter or Solomon were in the room. I'll find out more of that specific detail. And he grabbed him from his seat, put his knuckles, of course, into his chest, pushed him up against the wall. Of course, Rabbi Shapiro was sitting in the teacher's seat and looking with sympathetic eyes. This is what my photographic memory gives me. And with the sympathetic eyes, this is what has to be done. It's almost like he didn't know better. And in front of all the children and the teacher, and there may have been one more person there, I just can't say it for sure, for certain. But apparently Yossi Sher, based on what he accused him, was that he used Rabbi Karp's name to go on the bus the day before and get the back end of the bus where the seats end, and then you get the whole window and you get to look out. There's a bunch of kids in my classmates that were there. Amazing Metal, Benzi Shemtif, 2 Cohen brothers, so you could ask them. And he said, he looks at the boy is terrified, Yossi Sher. You used my name to go to the back of the bus. You said Rabbi Karp said that me and my friend could go to the back of the bus? And then came back into the class with a baseball bat made of wood, and he hit it over one of those desks from some kid and said, "This is Mr. Bat. Say hello to Mr. Bat. This is going to be your new friend from now on." And Rabbi Shapiro said nothing. And we didn't understand if this was right or wrong. It could be it was based on what they understood from the Proverbs. Beat him with a rod, he will not die. So while that book had some good advice, it had some very, very bad advice. And anyone who gets their morality from such books, that's why we need police. So today is the yahrzeit of Moshe Rabbeinu. Just to throw in, I was visiting a relative of mine in the hospital. He was sick, and he was abusive towards his wife then. It didn't last. And he wanted to justify to me about his behavior, and he used Moshe Rabbeinu. He said, "Was Moshe Rabbeinu the guilty of this and that?" And I don't know where he pulled it from, a medrash or somewhere. But for you people watching, don't worry about Moshe Rabbeinu's behavior, because we have a good police system, And he might, if he comes back, if first of all he's dead, but if he does come back, and hopefully he won't have enough power to do any damage. As one younger man said to me, if Moshe Rabbeinu came into shul, he wouldn't recognize what kind of religion we are. So I said, it could be he'll go to the Litvische also and not recognize, no matter how much they're steiging with the Gemara. But don't worry, we have a good police system, so the chances of ISIS coming is much more likely than Moses. Another story, back to the Cheder Yadin. I had a fight with a friend that was regularly a nice kid, and we were regularly friends. He wasn't a bully, and this fight lasted 2 days. It started with the bus, and I tried to defend myself. I pushed him over on the seat, and he really hurt himself, and he was very angry. And the next day confronted me with his friends, but like just to help. And Rabbi Karp saw that, and Rabbi Karp wanted to do justice. So he gave him like what they call the chelik. And when he did that, the boy Mendel, my age, is married, he started crying. And when he cried, he covered his face with a trapper keeper that we had those days. It was basically a folder with another extra flap and a Velcro. And he used the trapper keeper to cover his face when he was crying because he was pushed and shoved and smacked and beaten. How are you? And then every time he tried to cover his face from the tears, and I felt on one side like grateful that I was saved, or that he defended me, but on the other hand it was so cruel. Every time he tried to cover his face from crying with the trapper keeper, Rabbi Karp would pull it off, pull it away from his face. These stories are important because of of course, Rabbi Karp he's not evil. Either this was his sadistic nature or he didn't know better. And in that case, he's allowed to say I'm sorry. Rabbi Lustig's allowed to say I'm sorry. Rabbi Lustig is an old man. He's getting white hairs. There's no point in chasing him down. I don't understand the vendetta. It's not a way it doesn't give you anything. But the lesson is important, and the concept. Rabbi Lustig is the concept that someone can be an administrator and stomach all this abuse and still have dinner. So there's a certain disconnect, and it's very common in sociopathic personalities, where especially in military service, we have someone that's in charge of shooting a lot of people in a day, and the sociopath is the one that has the least post-traumatic stress, because he's able to stomach that much, and he carries so little empathy to be able to carry out such work. So there's the sadistic, and then there's the sociopath, which is more cold-blooded and is more in charge of this operation. And that's exactly what happened, and that's exactly what was. Claiming that this article is anti-Semitic is so foolish and stupid. If it was, if anything, taking the good guys out, the good mechanchim and melamdim would be the real blow. And if you are a teacher, you could get a better job in Maimonides and modern schools where you'll teach a better lesson, you'll teach science, you'll be able to teach proper Judaism, and things that later on your students will thank you. As Rabbi Simpson said, Chinuch is very rewarding. So it's not that the children can get better, it's the teachers can get better. And so this bad advice from the Proverbs and the Mishlei, the Bible, about beating children, if you go on YouTube, you see how Muslims do it still today, and it's very cruel. It's a horrible looking. Of course, in Judaism, it's a little more civilized, but you can't guarantee anything. It all is based on the sadistic nature of the teacher involved. It doesn't matter which community. These are only allowing sadistic natured people to take advantage of this law, because a good teacher, and there were many good teachers, Rabbi Hirschel Merazov, who was the teacher of Yossi Sher, who passed away a year and a half after that story I told you. Rabbi, he would never hit sadistically. He would tap on the head, and it would be out of frustration and sending a little message, but nothing cruel. He always made sure the kids ate. So this Bible verse about beating is for generations. Kids were suffering for generations. Nuns with the rulers, Beis Yaakov school, slamming girls' fingers in the drawers. Accepting authority, a book, a holy book as an authority, is something that has caused so much pain and agony for the world. And that's the nature that has to be addressed. That's the issue here. That's what you have to deal with as a society, a healthy society. Thank you for watching Sheni V'Chamishi.